What's up everyone, welcome back to another series of lessons. This time we're going to be looking at indices, and in this series I'm going to be covering the whole topic right from starting at the fundamentals, and then we're going to be moving on to the laws of indices. We're going to look at 3 different laws, and then we're going to be solving some algebraic problems, and then lastly we're going to finish with some problem solving videos. So let's dig in with the first lesson. So let's start with the definitions first. What are indices? So to give you an example of what they are is, say we have 2 times 2 times 2. Then we can rewrite that as 2 to the power of 3. Okay, it's just shorthand. And this number here, that 3 there, is called an index. Or that's one word actually, there's no space, it's just one word. Or you can call it as a power. Okay, so it's 2 to the power of 3, 2 cubed. This number is, should have drawn the arrow the way around, this number is what we call the base number. Okay, it's our base. Now it's important that you remember what a base is, because we're going to be referring to it in the later videos. Right, now why do we use it? Why do we need indices? Why do we have to write it in this way? Well, it's shorthand. So imagine we had a longer chain of numbers. So say we had, 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Okay, that's why I'm going to stop here because it gets a bit tedious. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We would write it as 3 to the power of 5. Okay, it's just shorthand. Okay, shorthand. Now, do we always need to write it in terms of numbers? Do we always have to work with numbers, or could we have letters? So could we have, for example, I don't know, A times A times A. Whoops. Times A times A. Could we have that as well? Yeah, you can. Okay, A cubed. Okay. We can pretty much have anything you like. You can have elephants, right? You can actually have elephants. So we can have, actually let's have it here. So we can have, elephants. Squared, okay, because we only have two of them. So to the power of 2. Now it can get a bit long when you write elephants. So we usually write it shorthand and we go, do you know what, let's use a bit of algebra. Okay, E times E, and that is E squared. Okay, right. Now, that's the basics out of the way. I'm going to be talking about something really important that everyone needs to know this, because it does come up in GCSE exams, and it's an important rule of indices. So let's start with something we can work with. Let's go for 2. So if I had 2 cubed, what would that be? Well, that'll be 2 times 2 times 2, which is, what, 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. Okay, if I had, say, 3 squared, well, that's 3 times 3, which is 9. Okay, now, what if we had a letter? So if we had B, right, if we had B squared, well, unfortunately, we can't do anything about it, because it's just a letter. We don't know the value of B, we can't work it out, so we leave it as it is. We leave it in index form. Right, sounds easy. Well, then what if we had 3 to the power of 0? What would that be? Or what if we had x to the power of 0? What would that be? Or perhaps 3 to negative 1. I mean, these are all possibilities. So let's delve into the actual way of working with powers of zeros and ones and negatives, and how we can go about solving this. So let's start with a nice easy number, and I always go for 2 because it's a small number we can work with. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be working out what 2 to the power of 4 is, and then we're going to be working out what 2 cubed is, and then 2 squared, and then 2 to the power of 1, and then 2 to the power of 0. And as I sort of fill this in and work out the answers to them, you are going to be hopefully spotting the pattern here. So, what's 2 to the power of 4? Well, it's 2 times 2 times 2. Okay, and that's 4, 2 times, and then 4 times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. Okay, 2 cubed is 2 times 2, there we go, and that'll be 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, and then this is nice and easy, 2 times 2, which is 4. Right, and this brings us to these two here. Now, can you spot a pattern? What's happening on the right hand side? How do we get from 16 to 8 and then 8 to 4? If you've spotted this correctly, we're actually halving, okay, or dividing by 2, you know, whichever way you like to write it as. So half of 16 is 8, and so what's half of 8? Well, it's 4. So the rule works, right? Or divide by 2. Okay, same thing. So we can use this rule to figure out what this number here is. So half it, and that'll be half of 4 is 2. And so half of 2 is 1. So straight away we figured what 2 to the power of 0 is. And that's all it is really in math. It's just about spotting patterns. Right, I can't really stress the importance of knowing these two rules. Okay, I'm actually going to write it here. So it doesn't have to be 2 to the power of 1. Change colors. It doesn't have to be 2 to the power of 1 or 2 to the power of 0. It could be anything to the power of 1 or 0. So it could be a to the power of 1. And the answer will always be a. Okay? It will be exactly the same. So a to the power of 0 would be 1. Okay? Now, if you are unsure of that, you can always test it out with different numbers. You can try, you know, doing the same thing here on the left hand side, but this time go for, you know, 3 cubed and go for 3 squared and 3 to the 1, and then you'll come up, and then you'll end up with the same answers. Okay, where this will be 3, so you know 3 to the power of 1 is 3, 3 to the power of 0 is 1. Okay, so we generalize things, and we say, well, then in that case, whoops, this is the rule. Okay, please do not forget these two rules. They're the building blocks of indices, and we'll be using them in the next videos. Now that you know what 2 to the power of 0 is, I want you to tell me what 2 to the power of -1 is. And then, if you figure that out, tell me what 2 to the power of -2 is. Okay, leave your answers in the comments section below. I will keep an eye out on the answers, and I'll give you a thumbs up for them. Right, thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up, and I will be looking forward to seeing you in the next video.